Have you ever talked about something, let's say a random vacation spot, and an hour later you're getting ads for hotels there? You're not paranoid. And no, your phone isn't technically reading your mind. But what it's actually doing, that's even wilder. Sarah, a marketing manager in Chicago, experienced this in 2023. She was having coffee with her sister, talking about adopting a dog, something she'd never searched online, never posted about, never even typed into her phone. Within 24 hours, her Instagram feed exploded with dog food ads, pet insurance promotions, and local animal shelters. Confused and a little creeped out, she posted about it on Reddit. Within hours, thousands of people replied with identical stories. Some talked about baby products appearing after pregnancy conversations they'd had in their living rooms. Others saw ads for divorce lawyers after arguments with their spouse. One person swore they got hearing aid ads the day after mentioning their grandmother's hearing loss to a friend. The common thread? They all insisted their phones were listening. But here's the truth that's somehow more unsettling. Your phone doesn't need to listen. The invisible profile. Let me break down what's actually happening, and I promise to explain this like you've never taken a computer science class, because you don't need to. When Sarah met her sister for coffee, both of their phones logged the location. The algorithms running in the background noted that these two devices spent 47 minutes together at the same Starbucks. Then the system did something clever. It cross-referenced their search histories, purchase patterns, and browsing behavior. Here's where it gets creepy. Sarah's sister had recently searched for best dog breeds for apartments and watched 3 YouTube videos about puppy training. The AI didn't just target her sister with dog ads. It made a logical leap. If these two people spent nearly an hour together, they probably discussed something meaningful. And if one person is researching dogs, there's a high probability the other person is now thinking about dogs too. Research from MIT's Connection Science program found that you can predict someone's interests with 95% accuracy just by analyzing their close contacts' behavior. Your phone literally profiles you by the company you keep, but it goes deeper, predicting your future. These companies aren't guessing what you want. They know what you'll want before you do. In 2023, researchers at Carnegie Mellon University demonstrated something remarkable and disturbing. They showed that AI could predict major life events, engagements, pregnancies, job changes, with 85% accuracy up to 3 months in advance. They didn't use any audio recordings or secret listening devices. They did it purely by analyzing tiny behavioral signals most of us don't even know we're sending, the timing patterns of your search queries. Micro changes in which apps you use and when, how long you hover over a button before clicking it, even the pressure you apply to your touchscreen when scrolling. The most famous example of this happened back in 2012 with Target, the retail chain. Their algorithm detected subtle changes in a teenage girl's purchasing patterns. She started buying unscented lotion and certain vitamin supplements. The system predicted she was pregnant and started sending her coupons for baby items. Her father was furious and complained to the store manager, demanding to know why they were sending his high school daughter pregnancy-related ads. A week later, he called back to apologize. His daughter was indeed pregnant. The algorithm knew before he did. This wasn't magic. The AI had analyzed millions of shopping patterns and identified the subtle shifts that happen when someone becomes pregnant, often before they've told anyone, sometimes before they've consciously acknowledged it themselves. You're not alone in your data. But there's another layer to this that most people never consider. You don't exist in isolation online. Every device on your Wi-Fi network is contributing to your advertising profile. Your smart TV, your partner's laptop, your roommate's Alexa, they're all feeding data into the same ecosystem. A 2024 study from UC Berkeley found that 47% of targeted ads were triggered not by the recipient's own behavior, but by someone else in their household. Think about that. You could be getting ads based on what your teenager searched, what your spouse watched, or what your guest asked Alexa while they were visiting. This is why you might suddenly see ads for men's golf clubs when you've never played golf, but your husband watches golf videos every weekend. Or why you're getting ads for keto recipes when your roommate is the one on the diet. The system doesn't just track you, it tracks your entire digital household and assumes you all influence each other, which, to be fair, you probably do. The listening question. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but are they actually listening? Here's the honest answer. Sometimes, but probably not in the way you think. In 2019, researchers at Northeastern University did something brilliant. They tested 17,000 Android apps to see if any were secretly recording audio and sending it to third parties. They found that a handful of apps were doing exactly that, though they emphasized this was relatively rare and usually involved sketchy apps most people wouldn't recognize. Facebook has consistently and vehemently denied using microphone audio for advertising purposes. Their official statement is clear. We don't use microphones for ads, period. And here's the thing. I actually believe them. Not because tech companies are trustworthy, but because they don't need to listen. The behavioral prediction models they've built are so sophisticated that audio would actually be less efficient. Facebook has admitted, in various leaks and official statements, that they track over 52,000 different data points about each user. They know every time you open the app, how long you linger on each post, which friends you message most, your typing speed when commenting, whether you finish reading an article or bounce after 3 seconds, and even the slight hesitations in your scrolling pattern. With that level of behavioral detail, audio is redundant. It's like having a 4K security camera system and then also asking your neighbor to describe what they saw through binoculars. Sure, you could do it, but why? The psychology factor. There's also a psychological phenomenon at play here called the Baader-Meinhof effect, or frequency illusion. Once you notice something, you suddenly see it everywhere. You remember the one ad that felt spooky and perfectly timed, but you forget the 50 random ads you scrolled past that had nothing to do with your life. But, and this is important, Stanford psychologist Dr. Mikhail Kosinski warns us not to dismiss the real surveillance just because some of it is psychological. He puts it this way: the illusion is real, but so is the surveillance. Both things are true simultaneously. The algorithms have become so sophisticated that they can predict things that seem impossible. In controlled research studies, AI systems can now predict your political affiliation with 72% accuracy just from looking at your face. Determine whether you'll click on an ad before you consciously decide to, just by tracking micro-movements of your mouse cursor. Assess your emotional state from the rhythm and pressure of your typing. Predict if you're about to make a purchase based solely on your scrolling speed and pattern. One study from ET Zurich in 2023 demonstrated that AI could determine if someone was about to buy something just by analyzing how they scrolled through a product page. Before they added anything to their cart, before they even consciously decided they wanted it. We're not dealing with simple if-then algorithms anymore. These are prediction engines that understand human behavior better than we understand ourselves. Taking back control. All right, enough of the scary stuff. Let's talk about what you can actually do about this. Practical steps that work, tested by security researchers and privacy advocates. First, audit your app permissions. This takes about 5 minutes and makes a real difference. On iPhone, go to Settings, then Privacy and Security, then Tracking, and toggle off Allow apps to request to track. Then go through each app individually and remove any permissions it doesn't absolutely need to function. On Android, go to Settings, then Privacy, then Permission Manager. Review which apps have access to your microphone, location, and contacts. Be ruthless. Does your weather app really need access to your contacts? Does your shopping app need your location when you're not using it? Instagram doesn't need your location running 24/7. Set it to while using app only. The same goes for almost every app on your phone. Second, disable ad personalization. This won't stop ads completely, you'll still see them, but it dramatically reduces how targeted they are. For Google, go to myaccount.google.com/data and privacy, find ad personalization, and turn it off. For Facebook, go to Settings, then Ad Preferences, then Ad Settings, and disable all the personalization options. For Apple devices, go to Settings, Privacy, Apple Advertising, and turn off personalized ads. The Federal Trade Commission actually has a comprehensive guide on this if you want more detail. Third, use better tools. Switch to Firefox with enhanced tracking protection enabled, It blocks cross-site trackers by default. Or use the DuckDuckGo browser, which doesn't build behavioral profiles at all. Install Privacy Badger, a free browser extension from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. It automatically blocks invisible trackers that follow you around the web. It's like having a bouncer for your browser. Fourth, try what security researchers call the poison the well strategy. Occasionally click on ads for things you'd never buy. Search for random topics that have nothing to do with your life. Watch videos outside your usual interests. This confuses the algorithm by diluting your profile with false signals. Studies show this technique can reduce targeting accuracy by up to 40%. You're essentially teaching the AI that it doesn't know you as well as it thinks it does. Fifth, practice regular digital hygiene. Clear your cookies once a month. Log out of Google and Facebook when you're not actively using them. Use separate browsers for different activities, one for shopping, one for social media, one for work. Every few months, visit your Google activity and do a mass delete. It's therapeutic and it actually works. Sixth, vote with your wallet. Support companies that have stronger privacy commitments. Use Signal instead of WhatsApp for truly private conversations. Consider Apple products over Android. Whatever you think of Apple, their business model doesn't depend on selling your data to advertisers. And when possible, pay for services instead of using free versions. Remember, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. The bottom line. Look, I'm not going to tell you that you can completely escape this system without moving to a cabin in the woods and throwing your phone in a lake. That's not realistic, and it's not necessary. But you can make yourself a much harder target. Think of it like locking your car. It won't stop a determined professional thief, but most opportunistic criminals will just move on to an easier target. The same applies here. The algorithm is watching. But now you're watching back, and you have tools to push back. The creepy ads, the uncanny timing, the feeling that your phone knows too much. It's not in your head. It's real. But it's also not magic, and it's not unstoppable. Now you know how it works. Now you know what to do about it. That's power. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who thinks they're being paranoid about their phone. They're probably onto something. And next week, we're diving into how AI knows when you're about to quit your job before you tell anyone. That one's going to blow your mind even more than this one did. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and maybe, just maybe, think twice before saying everything out loud around your devices.